I guess the poster's really cool.
Damn, it feels good to be back.
Xander Cage is back. Xander Cage? Come on! The guy from that mediocre action schlockfest 15 years ago. The one who dropped out of the second one 12 years ago. But with the huge success of the latest Fast and Furious movies, they, or probably Vin Diesel himself, must have thought it would be a cool idea to do something very similar. For me, it almost didn't work at all. The Fast and Furious franchise has gone to ludicrous places when it comes to the bigger-than-life action, but this is something even more ridiculous. As big and stupid as the Fast and the Furious movies go, they are still near that line where you are somewhat invested in what's going on. That's missing completely with this one. It starts with almost each character being a douchebag. Diesel perhaps the biggest one of them. He's smiling throughout the movie like he's some kind of crazy person, and his big persona comes across more as slimy than as cool. There's a scene where a new member of the team, the name is Becky, a young woman, is quite literally drooling all over Diesel's apparently godlike persona. The movie and his star are so full of themselves, and all the time I had the feeling they had way more fun shooting this than the audience has watching the finished product. I haven't seen the first two movies, and I thought that maybe some of the characters were known because none of them got any kind of interesting backstory or anything to work with. With each one you get a cool, hip, freeze-frame info card, which was hit and miss. Some of the texts were quite funny, some were just plain dumb. But now that I looked it up, they were all new, and almost all of them come across as very unlikable, because everything in XXX must be so over-the-top cool that it gets annoying. So without real characters and basically no story, apart from a big all-powerful MacGuffin called Pandora's Box, you just don't get an exciting movie. Action scenes alone don't make a good action movie. I won't lie, there are some cool parts in there. There's some cool fight choreography with Donnie guy, and some of the jokes work.
You actually know what you're doing down there. Yeah, that's what she said. Wow.
Maybe not the ones from the 90s. And it's always a pleasure to see Samuel L. Jackson for 5 minutes. But overall it's just not engaging at all, and all characters are acting on pure luck alone. Let's jump from any height, there will be something down there to absorb the fall. You know what's ridiculous? When a man wraps a fire hose around his waist so he can jump out of a skyscraper. You know where that happens? In the arguably best action movie ever made, and that scene is awesome. John McClane knows it's ludicrous and suicidal, and when he succeeds nevertheless, it's all the more epic. Yeah, I know it's kind of unfair to compare this to Die Hard, but even the guys in the Fast and Furious movies often acknowledge when something is beyond over the top, and they laugh and jump into it. But here, ridiculous and beating every art, no matter what, is the norm, and it gets quite boring. Wherever Xander Cage jumps, something will save his fall. Whoever puts a gun to his head, he won't pull the trigger. It's just too much, and the fun suffers. At least for me. In German I'd say, stumpfer Unsinn.
I'm XXX.
But honestly, I really dig the poster, the composition, the art style, the subtle background and emotion. I give XXX Return of Xander Cage 4 out of 10. It's more like 3.8, but I don't do that. Alright, like always, comment below, let me know what you think about XXX Return of Xander Cage. And today's question is quite simple. What's your favorite action movie of all time? I will give you 2 hearts. The one I mentioned before, Die Hard, and an amazing movie from Hong Kong, Hard Boiled. I'm sorry there weren't that many new reviews lately, but I had some problems with my old microphone and also just a lot going on in general. I know I promised a Q&A for last week, and then I plan to upload it tomorrow, but it will have to wait just a little bit longer. It's actually a lot more work than I thought, but I think it will turn out quite nicely and it needs some extra time. I'm also working on that top 10 best soundtracks of 2016 list, which should be done by next week. And in a couple of days there will be a review for The Great Wall. And I'm already giving this away. I watched 5 films so far, including The Great Wall, and combined we're at 21 out of 50. So if you can't wait for the review, you can do the math. Thanks for watching. As always, leave a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like.